Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to record a video on how to lock in the identity that you're trying to embody. Okay, this is especially pertaining to self-concept, but you can apply it to whatever. I'm just kind of going to walk you through it. If I look that way, it's because I have made notes and it is pretty late at night and I don't want to lose track of anything here, so bear with. I have found that the best way to manifest is my way. I'm just kidding. I found that the best way to manifest is through self-witnessing, okay? Your identity is confirmed through expression. This is where the separation, the supposed separation, dissolves. I explain how. So because the subconscious thinks deductively, it just needs to meet your criteria, your personal criteria in that current state, in that current identity, I should say. It just needs to meet it by 51%, okay? If you can just convince yourself just over 50% that you are what you say you are, what you claim to be, it is sufficient enough to lock it in. The best way to confirm your identity is through expression. Once you see yourself doing something, okay, and you see yourself doing it on a consistent basis, whether that is even SATs. SATs is a technique, okay? It is not something that brings about your manifestation. It's the consistency of it that brings your manifestation. Self-witnessing, in a way, is the key activation point. But because the subconscious thinks deductively, it's going to believe what is repeatedly shown to it, okay? Now, that is totally personal to you. Let's take person A. Person A wants to be an actor, and they feel that posting videos on, I don't know, TikTok is sufficient enough. You know, just the act in itself is sufficient enough to give them the confidence to go actually audition in real life, right? And then there is person B who thinks, no, that is not sufficient or doesn't meet their criteria of embodying the state of someone who is an actor. And therefore they post TikTok videos, you know, of them acting, and they receive recognition for it. And it's only then that they personally deem sufficient to go and audition. And maybe person C feels more like an actor when performing live. Everyone's got their own ways of expressing this new identity, which is so personal to each individual. Whatever feels the most natural to you as an outlet, as an expression of what you desire to be, is the easiest mode for you, is the easiest thing for you. Now, there is this threshold point, and it's usually when you are in the expression, you are expressing whatever it is, and there seems to be this point where it just kind of tips over, where you experience something even beyond yourself. So really what's happened is that you have stepped into the realm of this new identity. It's kind of like recently I wanted to be a writer, for instance. I wrote an article that I was even bewildered by, because I thought, oh my God, did I write this? Like, this is so freaking good. And this happened in November, by the way. And that's when it just kind of, something clicked for me. And I thought, oh, I am this now. Like, I can do this now. Do you know what I mean? Some people could have a low threshold for proving to themselves, and some people could have a high threshold. I don't know, maybe it's dependent on your standards of how you want a certain thing to be, but it's usually where you don't anymore need to convince yourself that you are still trying to be the thing you're trying to be, right? The trying stops, and you are in this new identity. And it is best done when you witness yourself expressing what you want. And the two key thresholds are usually resonance, and it has to be some sort of a challenge. Now, it doesn't have to be a difficult challenge, but it's enough to tip you over the edge, where you step into this new realm of identity. It has to have resonance because it has to meet your personal criteria of that threshold. So for instance, say someone wants to be a writer, perhaps their threshold is where they write a piece of work that is self-awe adjacent. You know, they feel that they can't even believe what's flowed through them. And then we have somebody who only believes that they can be a writer or they've become a writer when they receive recognition for it, when they, I don't know, when they get paid for it. It's because the second person's standards include external validation as a part of their subconscious self-reinforcing mechanism. The exact moment that the identity, and this is for you guys that are always wondering, have I shifted? Have I shifted? The exact moment is when an action that you do, and it could be the same action that you've been doing this whole time, stops feeling like an attempt and feels like proof in itself. Do you see what I mean? That's when you've just shifted. Because before this, it feels like you're trying to do something. And then after it, the act in itself becomes proof or self-evident in that you are that thing. It's those moments that kind of add up and cross over. So how do we accelerate that tipping point? Oh God, I'm becoming just more and more unladylike throughout this video. Please allow me. You can set up self-witnessing challenges for yourself that just about meets your criteria, or just enough to meet your criteria, okay? You can set them up for yourself to accelerate this. So start by defining what moment will make you feel like you're undeniably stepping into this state, okay? And identify what challenge you need to surpass for that to happen. So for instance, I wanted to be kind of socially confident. This was like 2-3 years ago. So what I did was I was set up challenges for myself, like literally weekly challenges, to go and compliment 5 strangers. Now, these weren't females. This included males. It's a bit out there. But I was like, fuck it. I don't care. I'm going to do it. So I would compliment, females, males, didn't matter. I realized, people obviously were so friendly, and I'm sure I kind of give the wrong impression to some people, but who cares? And I did this because it was just challenging enough for me to make me believe that I was a confident person, okay? Now, I could have done other things as well, which I did do much later on, but, this was more about just trying to be socially confident. And this is actually something I have advised someone else to do in building their social confidence. Now, someone who does this on a regular basis for whatever reason, maybe that's just their disposition or personality, whatever, this might not be enough for them. But this was the idea I could come up with at the time. And the more I did it, the more pleasant it became for me, and the more confidence it gave me to do the next thing and then the next thing. Witnessing myself interact with people confidently, going out of my way to do that, made me feel more secure around other people, just socially in general. It made me feel more socially open and socially exuberant and, vivacious, gregarious, whatever. So this method is a form of self-induced self-anchoring. It's worked for me a lot of the times. Everything is almost self-fabricated. No one knows what the aim is, why you're doing something that you're doing, right? Do it anyway. Now, for someone else who is perhaps trying to become a more confident person, this might not work because maybe, there is resistance in that they feel a really strong way about rejection. What if they get rejected? I don't have that problem. I don't fear rejection in that way from the opposite sex anyway, or even from females. I'm not into females in that way, but not that it matters. I don't care. I guess this just came with age, by the way, that I just don't care what the other person thinks about me in general. Obviously, you want them to think pleasant things about you, but it's not gonna affect my life. So I don't really, it doesn't bother me. That's why I could do this. But I understand if this is perhaps too much of a challenge for someone else. But you know, you have to think what will be the tipping point for you, because it's not just self-persuasion. You're anchoring yourself to these incidences that you are experiencing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm exhausted from talking. I will catch you guys in my next video.